Welcome to another episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Jimmy Costanza.
They knew Tony Spilotro had court in Nevada, so their original plan, they were going to hit Tony Spilotro with the Uzi right outside the courtroom.
I bet you any money this picture right here is probably when they would have shot him.
Right there, coming out of the courthouse. However, the mob bosses back home did not like that idea. It would have brought way too much heat, killing two gangsters in the middle of a courtroom, outside the courtroom. So that plan A was called off. Now plan B comes into effect. They canceled plan E. They called everybody back home. Now, according to Nick, if you believe Nick, Jimmy Marcello made the phone call to Michael Spilotro with the ruse. They lured him to a house in Bensonville. They lied to him and said, Tony's going to be a boss. We're going to make him a boss. And Michael, we're going to make him a made guy. That was what they told them to get to the meeting. Now, both of these brothers knew they were in trouble.
Yeah.
But they had to go to the meeting. You know, once you're whistled in, you have to show up. So this is something you could talk about. I was not in court this day. I missed Micah Spilotro's wife and daughter testify. They called them to testify that, number one, prior to the day they disappeared, Michael Spilotro's daughter, she testified her dad kept telling her throughout the day, I love you. You know how much I love you, right? You know, I love you, right? Nonstop, he kept telling her he loved her. So she was getting a little worried. And then his wife, Staxx, and you could talk about this. His wife testified. Again, I wasn't in court for the wife and daughter, but Michael Spilotro's wife testified. He took off all his jewelry in cash, put it in a plastic bag, and he said, if I'm not back at this reception by 9:30, something's wrong.
Yeah, so, and I have exclusive, and I can't let it out yet, but you guys will see it soon. And I have exclusive content that I'm going to be bringing you guys. That just can't really get into it, but that stuff is going to blow people's minds. Like it's a first-hand account of what happened to Anthony Spilotro and Michael Spilotro. So the brothers ended up going to a meeting. He gave the wife all the jewelry. He said, I might not come back from this. And he brought a handgun with him.
Yes, I'll get to that. Now, again, we're going by Nick's testimony. When Nick testified against the Spilotros, again, this was the peak, the highlight of the trial. You could hear a pin drop. Complete silence. All eyes, all ears were on Nick. Now, here's what Nick Calabrese said. According to Nick, Jimmy Marcello picked him, John Feccarata, and Jimmy LaPetria at a Venture parking lot. Back then, Venture would be like a Walmart today, a very popular supermarket that everybody shops at. He testified that Jimmy picked them up in a real fancy, hyped-up minivan. So they picked them up. They drove them to the house in Bensonville. When they got there a little early, when they walked into the house in Bensonville, when Jimmy dropped them off, they walked downstairs into the basement. The first man to greet Nick was Sam Carlisi, probably the boss, one of the bosses at the time, a very heavyweight in the Chicago outfit. He greeted Nick Calabrese, and he made a couple smart-ass wisecracks to Nick about how well he looked. He's got a nice tan. He was really enjoying himself out in Nevada. Now, at this time, Thecarata beelined it right to the bathroom. And Nick Calabrese testified that Thecarata was in that bathroom a long time, right?
So they were still like conversating. They didn't grab him yet.
Exactly. They got there early. Now, Nick said he noticed Thecarata was in the bathroom a long time. When John Thecarata came out of the bathroom, Nick Calabrese said he was white as a ghost, meaning Thecarata thought they were going to kill him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because Thecarata, we'll get into him later, but he was on thin ice with these guys. He did a lot of things where his day was coming, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, somebody said, they're here, they're here. So now Nick testified. Now he's getting tense. He's getting ready. He knows what's about to go down. He also testified they all had gloves on, right? So now the Spilatro brothers, Jimmy dropped him off. Michael was the first one down the stairs. Nick greeted him with a handshake. Nick knew Nick was friends with Michael. Hey, Mike, how are you? Good to see you. Right after that, he immediately grabbed his legs and held them. And then from behind, Louis the Mooch from Grand Avenue, probably over 350 pounds, strangled him with a rope. Nick testified Michael didn't put up a fight. He basically went quietly. A .22 caliber gun fell out of Michael's pants. John DeFranzo picked up the gun. He unloaded it. Now, at this time, Tony Spilatro, he sees what's going on. He knows, okay, there's no meeting. Time's up. According to Nick, he has to say a prayer. Make a long story short, all the heavyweights that were there, and I'll name them, according to Nick, I'll name them if you want, they beat and stomped the Spilatros to death. No knife, gun, they personally beat them to death.
And this is crazy. Exclusive content right here, man. You said that it's possible that the bosses were personally responsible for stomping them out.
Well, I'm going to tell you who was there according to Nick. And when I heard the men that were there, in my opinion, Staxx, I don't know, but in my opinion, the men that were there wanted to personally be there to get their licks in. That's how pissed off they were at Tony Spilatro. Nick says Sam Carlisi was there, a boss. Joe Ferriola was there, the boss. John Thecarata was there. Louis the Mooch was there. John DeFranzo was there. Who else was there? Louis Marino was there. Louis the Mooch was there. John DeFranzo.
It's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people to kill somebody. Like, it's a lot of people. I mean, that's a major hit, though.
When they show the autopsy picture in the courtroom on the big flat screen, the brothers, their face and chest were purple, black, and blue. You couldn't even recognize them. They were basically beat to death.
Yeah,
and then a second
way to go, man.
Nick testified at the end that Joe Ferriola took him and Thecarata out for coffee, and he told them to cut up their gloves in little pieces.
Joe Ferriola.
And then I guess a second group of guys were responsible for the burial of the Spilatros.
Oh, so it was that the first one was like a hit team to go just kill them. And then the second one was the cleanup crew, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, Thecarata was part of the cleanup crew.
I got Thecarata right here, man.
No, that's Joe Ferriola.
Oh, Ferriola. That's one of them.
He was the boss at the time. And he was personally there in the basement, according to Nick.
Did he get convicted of this?
No, he died before the trial started.
Oh, he did.
I mean, he died years ago from health issues.
Yeah. So, but he was there too, right?
According to Nick, John DeFranco was there.
So, after they killed them, what was their process from after they killed him in the basement? What was the process? You were there for the testimony of this or no? For the cleanup of it?
A different crew were responsible for burying the Spilatros. They were supposed to never be found, right? So
yeah,
Vectorata, yeah, that's the hole that the farmer found in. It's interesting. That burial site was in Enos, Indiana, not too far from Joey Iupa's farm. So what a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
So Vectorata, who was part of the hit team, he was also the leader, if you will, of the burial crew. Now picture this. This is pitch black at night, right? You can't see anything. The guys had walkie-talkies, and there was some issues with the transmitters, and these guys got lost. So they panicked. Rather than dig a really, really deep hole where the brothers probably wouldn't have been found for years, they dug a shallow grave and got the hell out of there. A couple weeks later, as we all know, some farmer noticed his corn wasn't growing properly. He goes to this site. He notifies the authorities. Boom. They find the Spilatro brothers. This made big national news. By this point, the bosses have had enough of Vectorata, and shortly after they found those bodies, they decided they're killing Vectorata.
Oh, they did. They killed Vectorata too?
Yeah.
How'd they kill him?
Well, okay, like I said earlier, John Vectorata, he was a loyal soldier, a made guy in the Chinatown crew, but he did a lot of things.
You know how to spell that?
Vectorata, Fecораtta.
We get a picture of him. Vectorata.
Now, Vectorata was also, according to Nick, part of the Seaford hit too.
Oh, they got him. Big John Vectorata murdered in 1986.
Now, what happened with that was, now Vectorata knew he was on thin ice, okay? He was in a lot of trouble for many reasons. And he wouldn't get in the car with just anybody. But he trusted his best friend, Nick Calabrese.
And Nick Calabrese was one of the main killers in the Chicago outfit at the time, right?
Absolutely. So Frank's younger brother. So there's Vectorata on the left. Vectorata was known as the best wheelman in Chicago, meaning the best driver, the best getaway guy. If you did a job and you wanted a good wheelman, you called Vectorata. He was also a killer too. But with Vectorata, Angelo Petria gave the order to the Calabrese brothers, Vectorata's got to go. So they tricked him. Nick Calabrese told them, hey, we gotta go to this dental office over on Belmont, and we're going to blow up this dental office because he owes us money. So Nick Calabrese put together a fake bomb made out of flares, and he had a gun. So now they're in the parking lot on Belmont. I forget where. Let's just say Belmont, Austin, Belmont Central. And when Nick Calabrese went down to get the fake bomb, he pulled out a gun. Vectorata caught the play. Vectorata said to him, oh, no, not you. So Vectorata and Nick are struggling. The gun went off. Nick had no idea. Nick accidentally shot himself. So now Vectorata knows this is it. They're finally gonna hit me.
What's good, everybody? What's up, Costanza? How you doing, man? Shout out to Jay Costanza for joining me on that one. That one's like a 4-part series. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of other parts that go along with that. I appreciate everyone that takes the time to check out my show. If you want to, you can donate to the show through Cash App, Bill Staxx 2021, or you can donate through Venmo, PayPal, all that good stuff. And super stickers, super chats, and I got a lot of good content on the way. Let me see. I just finished a bunch of them, so let me see if I could drop one for you guys now. I got a hint. My next guest. Peep this.
Sorry, I'm here chatting with
Where's my money? Told you guys, I'm not fucking around. Donate to the channel. You can donate through Bill Staxx 2021. Make sure you hit the link. I appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch my show. See you guys soon. And remember, don't be a bitch. Peace.